Good. We're recording.
All right, everybody. Boker or good morning. Let's start with standing up and start to move into our bodies. However we're arriving this morning, this week. I'm just standing. Let me get myself. So come to the center of your yoga mat. Just adjust. Bring your feet together. Bring your mind into your body. Press your heels to the floor. Entering into this yom, this day, we're going to look a little bit about the first time that the word day comes up in relation to Hanukkah, which is approaching. So let's go into our day, our yom, Hebrew word for day, for those of you who don't know yet. Beautiful word, lots of good meanings in it. Bring your feet together, roll your shoulders. Roll your shoulders. A new day. Extend your hands forward, she'ifa, inhale, reach, extend, lift, open, and exhale. So beginning always, I like to start Torah yoga with the Torah of the body, starting to open up, like taking the book off the shelf and wiping off the dust from the night's sleep. She'ifa, inhale, stretch. Press your heels, align the ladder between heaven and earth, and extend out to the sides and all the way down. Let's take our thumbs, interlace one thumb over the other. Use it as a nice holding point. You're like hooking one over the other. Notice which thumb is on top. We're going to be looking at the idea of habits today and changing habits. So take that right. Let's all start with our right thumb over our left, just so it will be clear. Use the hook to extend your arms. And then as you extend your arms, roll your shoulders back. So you can extend your arms and kind of round your back, or you can extend your arms and roll your shoulders back. And then with those nice extended arms, reach forward and up. And can you bypass your ears? So instead of having the hands in front of the face, to the sides of the head. If you can, if it's too intense, take your hands wider. If it's too much for your shoulders to begin in such a extension of the arms, press your heels down. Breathe, notice the yadayim. Take the arms out and all the way down to the sides and extend them forward and cross second thumb. Now our left thumb is crossing over the right. Use it for some resistance. In other words, some pulling. You're really kind of having the two thumbs press against each other in order to extend your arms more. We use one part of our body to activate another part and extend your arms forward and up. Press your heels to activate the lengthening of your legs and of your spine. So each part of the body helps wake up the other parts. Breathe and enter into the new day of the body. Extend your arms out to the sides and all the way down. And roll your shoulders. Let's do a little bit of a dynamic inhale up. Exhale out. Now let's cross and inhale up. Inhale and cross. Exhale out. Cross the other way, whichever arm was on front, if you remember. Cross and inhale. And exhale. First side. Cross and inhale. And exhale. And last time, cross the other way. And exhale. And take your arms down. Roll your shoulders back. Take your legs apart. One more opening, awakening for the body. Arms to the sides of the chest, facing the floor, elbows out to the sides, extend. Just extend like a 5-pointed star, extending in all the directions. In the early days of yoga, I remember we used to call this 5-pointed star. Feel yourself extending your limbs and extending your mind, spreading your mind into these limbs. Take the hands to the hips, move your elbows back, suck your shoulder blades forward, press your feet down, and also take the top of the buttocks down. Sometimes we have a tendency to lift the buttocks up See if you can move the buttocks down as your legs are wide. So you're getting the pelvic floor to be parallel to the floor. Take your hands forward, cross right over left one more time. Keep your feet nicely pressing, especially the outer edges of your feet and the inner edges. You want to spread your mind into those feet. Spread the weight. Inhale up. And now legs are wide. Press your inner legs towards your outer legs and lift those inner legs up. Lift the spine up. Take the arms out, switch the cross, left over right. Tarimu et yadayim. Raise the arms. Press the feet, squeeze your elbows. Breathe. Can you take your buttocks down? Top of the buttocks, muscle down. Lower back up to lift the spine. And arms out to the sides. And walk your feet together. And roll your shoulders. And let's come to a comfortable sitting position. Okay. Comfortable sitting position. If you have a good yoga blanket, sit up on a yoga blanket, cross your legs. If you need to sit on a chair for this opening, this is the part, as we all know by now, where we're going to spend a few minutes looking at some ideas about the Torah and then feeling those ideas active in our bodies. So cross your legs. At the center of your leg, if you need a chair, you sit on a chair. Reach under, pull the flesh away, and expose your sits bones and sit on your sits bones. And second side, hand under the buttocks, pull the flesh, sit on the sits bones, and then press your fingertips down to the sides of the body. I'm on my piano fingers here. Okay, and I put the fingertips down a little bit behind, but close to the body. I'll show from the side with my elbows back so that you can lift, but not lift the shoulders. You want to lift the spine, but not crunch the shoulders up. So the elbows move back in order to roll the shoulders back. The shoulder blades suck in to lift the chest up and keep the legs relaxed. On a chair, you can also do this. I'm looking to you, but you want to look straight ahead. I'll face forward again so it's not confusing. And then keeping whatever new awakening you're having in your spine, take your hands to your legs, close your eyes. Continue to turn your awareness to this body, to this day, to this time that you've given for yourselves to learn Torah with the body. Take a few breaths to relax your legs, to lift your spine, feel the awakening in your spine. And let's open our eyes. Okay, so as I have said, the idea of Torah yoga is that Torah is engraved in our bodies, and there's so many ways to see that connection. And since we have this 4-week class, I wanted to give a taste of a few different arenas. We looked at the Parsha, we looked at prayer, and today we'll look at holiday, because we are fast approaching the holiday of Hanukkah. And I have to say that personally, Hanukkah was the time where I first learned the teachings of Sfat Emet, the Hasidic text that I teach so often, which was in the early 90s. So we're talking 30 years ago. And I fell in love with his teachings through Hanukkah. So hopefully some of those teachings will be a part of this class today. But I wanted to take us to sort of one of the underlying spiritual ideas of Hanukkah. And that's connected to, of course, the idea of light and the miracle of the light. So I want to look at light in the Torah for a few moments. And if we are going to look at light in the Torah, where are we going to look? We're going to look at the first day. On the first day of creation, the first thing that is said that is created, we know that God creates through speaking. The first thing God speaks into creation is light. Vayomer Elohim, Yehi Or, Vayehi Or. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So most of us probably know this verse. And some of us have probably studied it more deeply. I know some of you have, because I know some of your backgrounds, but some of us haven't really looked that deeply at it, and we haven't thought enough about what is the light of the first day of creation. So that's what I want to present today for a few moments in connection to Hanukkah. What is the light of the first day of creation? Okay, if we were in the same room, I'd love to have a discussion. We're not, so I'm going to keep presenting. It is not sunlight. It is not starlight. It is not moonlight. Those were created on the fourth day. So we understand that there's a light, but we don't really think about what it might be. But it is not physical light of sun, moon, and stars. So what is it? Well, it's in the mystical tradition, in the Zohar, the understanding is it's really the transition between the Ein Sof, the infinite reality, and the physical reality. God wants to come into the world, and he begins to come into the world through light. It's sort of the influx of the beginning of God's presence in the world. The rabbis of the Talmud teach that the light of the first day of creation was so illuminating and so expansive that you could see from one end of the world to the other. Now, of course, there were no human beings, but let's just understand without worrying about that, meaning it filled all of creation. It was some kind of divine light that filled all of creation. You could see from one end of creation to the other. So it's understood to be some kind of ability to see everything, to see the biggest picture. The biggest picture in Kabbalah is called Mochin de Gadlut. It's called expanded consciousness. But according to the Talmud, the creator looked at that light and said, it could be used for good, because it is good, and it could be used for evil, so I'm going to hide it away. And he hid the light, and it's called Or HaGanuz. It's called the hidden light. And our job, should we choose to accept it, is to look for it and to find it. The whole world is called Olam. Olam in Hebrew means world. But the root of Olam, Ayin Lamed Mem, Elem, is the word concealed. So the word world, in Hebrew, at its root means something is concealed. This is what's concealed. The divine light is concealed. So what's the connection to Hanukkah? The connection to Hanukkah is that the rabbis understand that what Hanukkah is a celebration of is the discovery of this light, the light of the Or HaGanuz. We are re-revealing the light of the Or HaGanuz. We're saying the world is filled with light, and it's a very expansive light. It's a light that's so expansive that you see miracles, because everything really is a miracle if we could see big enough. If we were in a consciousness of the first light, we would see that there's really, the world is full of miracle. It's not just a physical created world that runs on its own. It's a miraculous world. Those concepts need a lot of study, what miraculous means. But it's the light of the first day of creation. And it's very interesting because one more idea, and then we'll weave this into Torah yoga practice. There's so much to say about Hanukkah. But the word or, which is light, in the first day of creation, if you were to look at your Chumash, your Torah, maybe you'll look after if you have one at home, and you would count, Breshit bara Elokim et hashamayim v'et haaretz, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and you would get to the word or, you would discover that it's the 25th word. 25th word. 25th, Hanukkah happened on the 25th of December. Not of December, of Kislev, not December. That was a different holiday. All right. The 25th of, sometimes it's the 25th of December. The 25th of Kislev. And the word Chanukah, Chanukah, Chet Nun Vav Kaf He, means they rested, Kaf He, on the 25th. They rested on the 25th. They took rest in the deeper reality of the world on Kaf He. That kaf hey, which is the gematria, kaf hey means 25. It's the gematria for 25, meaning they rested in the light of the first day of creation. So one more idea, then we're going to Torah yoga. The next line says, Vayikra Elohim la'or yom. God called this light, this miraculous light that ends up being hidden, that we have to find, that's everywhere, that's in our bodies. He called that light, he called that light day. He called the light day, yom. So Sfat Emet's grandfather, the Hasidic master that I met on Sfat Emet in his teachings, his grandfather says, what is a day? A day is a day if you have some aspect of that light. He called the light day. So you have a day if you have some new awareness. Hanukkah is about increasing consciousness. It's increasing consciousness until we have such a big mind that we see miracles. And in yoga, they used to talk about miracle consciousness. How do you create miracle consciousness? By expanding your mind. How do you expand your mind? By learning Torah and by doing yoga. I mean, there's other ways too. I'm not saying those are the only two. Studying Torah is a mind expanding experience. Torah is the light of the first day of creation. They say the light of the first day of creation is Torah. And yoga helps us find that light in our bodies. What Iyengar says, what we're doing when we're doing yoga is trying to evenly distribute consciousness throughout the body. That even distribution of consciousness is related to this idea of the light of the first day of creation. So we're going to do yoga today with this knowing that what we're doing is we're using yoga to search for inner light, meaning to search for consciousness of the body, because it's there, it's just hidden. So let's do our poses. We're going to start on the floor. We're going to warm up this hidden light body. Let's just call it a hidden light body. Then we're going to come to what are called warrior poses, right? Because Hanukkah is also a story about a battle. But what do the rabbis celebrate? They celebrate the light. So we're going to do these poses and call ourselves warriors of light. That's how I see the warrior poses. So we're going to lie down. So come to a lying down position. Have your belt ready. If you have questions, you're welcome to ask. You can also ask at the end, as we've really begun to do. I think it's really nice to be able to discuss a few things afterwards. So we will definitely take that time at the end for a few moments. So come to lying down. Lie down on your backs. Let me just set up here. And roll that spine down to the floor. Roll your spine one vertebra at a time down to the floor. And stretch your legs one at a time away from you. And extend your arms to the ceiling. Raise your arms overhead. Stretch your arms overhead. And stretch your heels to the opposite direction. I'm going to set up my So you stretch your arms, you stretch your legs, and bend your right knee up to your abdomen. Bend it up to the belly. Interlace your fingers over your shin bone and hug your knee to your belly. So I'm just struggling a little with my placement, so I'm just going to readjust here. There we go. Okay. So we're hugging our right knee to the belly. We're stretching our left leg away from you. And one of the ways to look for light is to make sure we're not working out of habit. We'll go into that a little more, but we're going to make sure we do it with awareness, simple awareness. Soften your right foot. Lift your left leg a few inches off the floor. Press the heel away from you and roll the front of the thigh inward. And stretch your inner leg away from you. And then
having awareness of your inner leg. Lower your leg to the floor and relax your back to the floor. Release your right leg and extend it to your left. For a moment, let your legs fall out to the sides. Take your arms out to the sides. Fall onto the outer side of your heel. And then bring your mind to your feet and roll your thighs so that your legs start to roll inward until you lie on the back of your heel. So your front thighs are rolled in. Then raise your right leg a little bit, stretch it, and keep it rolled in and lower it down. Lift your left leg, stretch it, and lower it down. Keeping the right leg stretched and rolled in, hug your left knee up to the belly. Interlace your hands over the left shin bone. Elbows out, but not too high. Yes, a little more relaxed in the shoulders. Relax your left foot. Raise your right leg. And now raise your right leg to keep that conscious movement rather than habitual movement, and lower it down. Release your left leg and let the legs fall to the outer leg. The first line I ever learned from Svadamet was the opposite of habit is renewal. So a simple key to renewal, which is really a big part of Hanukkah, is not working from habit, working from let's learn how to be in these bodies in a way that's a little more present. So again, roll your thighs in, press your feet away from you, be on the back of your heel, in the middle of the heel, and one more time, hug your right knee without letting your left leg go to a habitual rolling to the left action. Soften your right foot, elbows lifted so that the sides of the chest are expanding. And now take your belt, hopefully you have some kind of belt, and place it under your right heel. 1 second. Let me just open my belt wide. You can also open your belt wide. If you have a hooked yoga belt, place it under your heel. Raise that leg to the ceiling and keep with that same new day, new body awareness. Roll the front thigh slightly in, press the inner leg up, and push the front of the leg away. Those are 3 actions. Inner leg up, you can do it. You can take your hand, everyone for a minute, take your belt with your left hand, take your right hand, especially on your right upper thigh, a little bit on the outside of the thigh, and give it an education. By the way, Hanukkah means chinuch. It means education. We're educating our bodies. Now you press that right thigh away from you. You stretch that inner leg, and now keeping that newness in the leg, hold the belt with one side of the belt in each hand so the elbows stay open, the arms stay wide, and one more powerful stretch of that awakening inner leg. And release. And as you release, take the leg to its new place, which means rolled in, center of the back of the heel, and hug your left knee to the belly. Keep that right leg, the inner seam. If you had a pants seam on the inner right thigh, you would want that to be looking downward. You don't want it to pop up to the ceiling. You want it to lengthen the inner leg and roll down. Sometimes in the beginning, if some of you are newer to these details, they don't always work right away. You sometimes have to really wake up those activities in the body. So some of it may take some time. Take the belt under the left heel, stretch the left leg up, press the inner leg to the inner heel, press the inner knee to the inner ankle bone. Now hold your belt in your right hand, take your left hand on the top of your left thigh, And the action of the front of the thigh, Yofi, is to push away from you. So as you push your front thigh into its back thigh, lift the heel up and try to stretch open that back of the knee any amount. Try to lift the calf muscle to the heel on the left leg. Yofi. Yoter tov, Gila. Yoter tov. It's better. You're still a little bit bent. You don't have to go quite as high. Yes, that's better. Even high. You can go higher, but don't bend it. Okay, work with the edge. Work with where you're getting something new, but with alignment. Now, hold the belt with both hands. Open the elbow slightly. Keep sucking the front thigh into the back thigh and lifting the shin bone up. Yeah, you can also press right under the knee. Carol, I see. That's okay to press on top. Don't ever press on the knee. You can press a little bit on top of the knee. Anywhere on the front of the thigh, you can use your hand to kind of massage the thigh. It's not really a massage, but it's to push the thigh away from you. And release. And keep the legs now rolled in, inner legs long, lift your arms, switch the cross of the thumbs, extend your arms, extend your legs. Keep those inner thighs lengthening. Squeeze your outer legs to your inner legs. Roll the upper inner thighs down to the floor. We want to spread the backs of the thighs onto the floor. All those actions are opening up new awarenesses in the back of the body. That's where some of the Orha Ganuz, the hidden light, is stored. Now you stretch your spine and you breathe. Hug your two knees up to the belly, hands over the shin bones. And keeping your legs up. This next action, you have two choices. Let's do it first together with the belt under the heels. And we're going to give a little bit more of an advanced choice of the pose. Belt under the heels. Start with the knees bent. Get that lower back nicely placed. And then lengthen those legs up. Now you get to look at both of your legs. If you guys are warm enough at home, sometimes it's really nice to do yoga where you see your knees, because they have a lot to tell us about how we're aligning our legs. Because really our legs often are not symmetrical and we want to move toward symmetry. So if you're not doing the 90 degrees, if you can't get there, can you please have your belt long enough to do 60 degrees, but straight legs? It's not really, we're not going like this. Look, we're not bending the legs and getting the feet up to 90 degrees. I'm going to open up my belt. We're trying to learn how to extend our legs. So even if you have to be longer with the belt and have your legs just go to a 60-degree angle, yes, that's good. And then if that happens, then you go farther and you pull, but you keep your back on the floor as much as possible. Elbows out. Now, this is a lovely pose for the back. Lift the heels up. Roll the inner thighs. Roll the front thighs inward and move the upper inner groin. That's the very top of the inner thigh. Let's imagine there's eyes there for seeing light. Press that upper inner groin away from you. And now release. So that's a supported way to do the pose. We also do this pose without the belt. So those of you who feel ready, we're going to do it without the belt. If you're not at 90 degrees yet, I would suggest keep working with the belt. Okay? And be patient, because it's definitely not about achievement. It's about consciousness. So the Aura Ganuz can be discovered in all kinds of bodies. You want to bend the legs. Either use your belt or extend your hands overhead. Interlace thumb on thumb. Raise your legs to 90. Squeeze your legs together. Look at your legs. See that your right knee is facing your right chest. Your left kneecap is facing your left chest. Your outer legs are squeezing toward the inner legs. Your inner legs are lifting toward the inner ankles. And now stretch your arms even longer. Even longer. Bend your knees, release, extend your arms out, Tin Shifu, relax, and take a minute to receive whatever awareness happens. Yoga, people say, do you meditate? Yoga is one big meditation. It's meditation in motion. You're meditating, meaning you're focusing on the experience. Second side, bend your knees. What's the second side? Bend your knees up, raise your arms up, switch the cross of your thumbs. That changes the habit of which side of the back is stretching more. Extend your arms over your head. As you feel what happens by extending your arms, what's meant to happen is a good long stretch of the arms and an extension of the spine along the floor. Then with those nice bent knees, stretch your legs up to the ceiling, squeeze your legs together, stretch your arms away from you. And those of you who are working without the belt will take it one step farther, take your legs down to 60 and extend the legs and reach the legs. And then reach them back up to 90, extend, press the back to the floor, and bend your knees. Release and let it go. Tin Shifu. Relax. Let's do one more leg stretch because I want to warm up the inner legs here for warrior 2. So take your belt one more time with a 30-degree loop. We're going to do legs to side. And then we're going to come up to standing, but one more position on each side. Taking a belt with 30 degrees. Stretch your legs straight. For a moment before we go into it, lift the buttocks. Move the buttocks away from your back. Lower it down to create a long lower back. And align yourself with legs straight. Bend your right knee. Take the belt under the right heel with a nice loop, either 30 degrees or longer. If you're less flexible, you want it longer. Hold the loop with your right hand. Stretch your left hand to the left and stretch that leg straight. And then keeping the left leg extending in non-habitual ways, take the right leg to the right and take the right elbow down. Have the outer right thigh be super sucked in so that the inner right leg can open and lengthen. Feel, I think last week you might have done it with a bolster, I can't remember, but you want that outer right hip to be strongly into the body and lift the leg up. We're opening the inner leg, pull the leg as much as it goes towards your face without bending it, press the front thigh away. Open the back thigh, release, right leg to left leg. Pause, notice. Bend the left leg. Place the belt under the left heel, stretch the left leg to the ceiling, right arm out to the right. Left leg diagonal to the left until the elbow is your anchor on the floor. Really important help is that left elbow, because the left elbow on the floor can move your weight back to the right side of the body. Stretch that right leg. Don't let it fall to the right. Keep it rolled in. Non-habitual poses. And press the front of the right thigh, left thigh, into the back of the left thigh. Suck the outer left hip and buttocks into the leg to stretch the inner leg. Vechazar lamala, go up to the ceiling, take your belt in both hands, and one last pull of the leg toward you, release. Take the arms out, both knees up to the belly, interlace your fingers, the other interlace, whichever one you haven't done yet, or switch it, cross your hands over your shin bones, yadayim ala shokaim, and relax your back. Let the back settle for a moment without lifting the buttocks up. Just let the back relax for a breath or two. Knees drawn in toward the belly a little bit, upper groin soft. Roll to your right side and come up to sitting and come up to standing. Okay, let me just readjust my screens here. We're going to come to a standing position back in the center of our yoga mat to go towards
Hanukkah warrior poses. Warrior 1, warrior 2. We're gonna actually do warrior 2, warrior 1, warrior 3 even maybe today. We'll see if we get to it. Bring your feet together. So going with the idea that what we're looking for is even distribution of consciousness. Because when we say that the light of the first day spread into the whole world, the human being is called an olam katan, a little world. Meaning we need to spread the light of our mind into our whole bodies. So hands to the heart, jump or step. Your feet to 4 or 4.5 feet wide and spread out in all directions. Let's line up our legs first. Hands to the hips. Turn your left foot to the right. Turn your right leg to the right. And all right, I'm gonna go this way. I'm not sure what's showing up in your screen, but I'm gonna do what I'm saying. So my right leg's to the right, my left leg's to the right, my arms are out to the sides. And then you extend the body up to the ceiling. Lift that right kneecap up and bend your right leg as deep as you can. Down into a deep knee bend and come up. Make sure hands on your hips. Actually, I'm gonna do it the other way. It's easier for me if I'm mirroring. Okay, so we're taking our right leg to the right. Let's do it again. Left foot slightly to the left. Right leg completely to the right. Actually, that's not working. It's gotta go this way. 1 second. Okay, right leg completely to the right. Actually, that is working. All right, press your weight into the back leg. Make sure you're wide enough. Watch for a minute. The base of this pose really has to be knee over heel and not knee farther than heel. If you don't get to 90 degrees, that's less significant. So take your legs as wide as you need to. Hands on the hips. Let's move our elbows back for a minute. Anchor your back leg down and bend down deeply into your right leg. Yofi. So the knee is right over that strong akev, that strong heel. And come up. Second side, just the feet. Turn your left leg to the right. Right leg, left leg, right leg to the left. Left leg to the left. Left leg to the left. And bend down deep into that second leg so that the knee goes over the heel. And come up. Okay. So here, when we were lying down on our backs, I spoke about, when we do legs to side, I spoke about taking that outer hip in to itself so that we can stretch the leg out from the inner leg. The same thing for warrior 2. I'll show from the side. We need to bend our front leg and suck that hip in so it's not puffing back. We hold the buttocks in so that the inner leg can stretch. It's the inner leg that can stretch. Then we, as if the inner leg is moving towards the inner knee. The outer buttocks is moving into itself. So that's what creates the alignment of the knee over the center of the foot. So let's do warrior 2. This time, just legs, and then we'll add the arms. Feet together in mountain pose, hands to the heart, jump or step, your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot to the right, turn your right leg to the right. Extend your arms away from you and bend down into that right leg until that buttocks is sucked in, inner thigh is going to the inner knee, and stretch your arms out to the sides. Penina ktsat rachav. Lift your spine. Your legs are too wide, Penina. Your knee is, yeah. Extend your arms a little bit more, Megan. See if you can drop that right buttock. See if you can go down farther. And stretch your arms out. Look out over your right leg. Yofi, Margaret. Look out over your right leg. Yofi, Kulam. Beautiful. Okay. We're not going to the side yet, Hillary. We're staying in the center. Come back up. I'll explain in a minute. Feet facing forward. Turn your right foot slightly to the left. Left leg completely to the left.
אני חושבת קצת רחב, פנינה. Turn your right foot, קצת. Right foot, כף רגל ימין. Arms out to the sides. Look down, line up your left heel with your right arch. Yeah, turn that left leg really well, Margaret. It's hard to tell from where I'm looking, but turn it completely 90 degrees. Arms out to the sides. Back leg straight, and then bend down deep into that left leg, Yofi. Okay, so the left buttock sucks in. The left inner thigh stretches to the left inner knee. And yes, go down a little bit farther, everyone. Another breath down. Now lift your spine up, relax your shoulders on Yofi, Megan. B'tzad Yofi. And inhale back up, turn your feet, jump or step your feet together. And Yofi. Cheryl, good, 90 degrees. So I'm getting a good look at a lot of you. I can't see all of you. Welcome back to center. And so one thing I wanted to show, Hillary, I was noticing, and that this is really common.
So when we go into the pose, a lot of times what we do is we kind of go to the side. That's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we're staying very vertical with the top of the head over the pelvic floor. And we're really just opening the doorway of that leg. So the hips have to stay also, it's also common to go like this, kind of tilt the hips. We want the hips to be parallel to the floor and the spine to be in the center. One last time, feet together. Hands to the heart. Jump or step your feet wide. Turn your left foot to the right. Turn your right leg to the right and check that your right heel is bisecting your left arch. Sock that right buttocks in. Open the inner thigh up and go down deep. Keep the spine in the center. Turn and look out over your right hand. Stretch your left hand back. Soften your shoulders. Gila, lift that left arm a little higher. Left hand up. Left shoulder relaxed. Stretch your arms away from you. Oh, Madeline, if you can, go a little deeper down. Yeah, legs have to be a little wider. Better, Hillary. And come back up to center. Yofi, Cheryl, beautiful. Turn your right foot to the left. Left leg to the left. Carol, I don't quite see the legs, so I see the upper body, but that's okay. You just watch yourself if you want, whatever you want. Turn the right foot, turn the left leg completely, arms out. Marcy, it looks like you could go a little wider. I'm not sure because I don't see the whole leg. A little wider between the legs to give more space. Okay, stretch your arms out, everybody. Turn your right foot, turn your left leg, lift your spine, extend your arms, and bend out over that left leg. Better, Carol, I can see now. Go, Yofi. Now stretch that back leg. Stretch the back leg. Right leg has to stretch. Open up the back right knee. Spread your mind and stretch your arms. Spread your mind into those two arms, warriors of light. And Chazara Lamala. Come back up. Oh, Yofi, Megan. Turn your feet, jump or step your feet together. Roll your shoulders back. Take a minute, 2. Look for the light. Close your eyes for a minute even. Just be. Svadamet says, every day of creation, there's a new light that's never been there before. There's never been the same light. So look at your body now and notice. What's the energy? What's the consciousness? Okay, let's take this to extended side angle stretch. I don't know if we've done it in this particular class yet, but it's one of the, these are classic. I'm going to say beginning. They're not beginning poses, but they're taught even at the beginning level, even though they become used at all levels. So then watch for a minute. I don't know if we've done it. This is how the pose is going to go. We're going to start in a warrior. We're going to extend over. Bring one hand down, other hand up. Then I'm going to reach over my head and look under the armpit. Okay, so lots of actions going on in this pose. If it's too intense for you to bring the hand all the way to the floor, feel free to use a chair to lean on, or lean on your leg, or you can put a block. Those of you who have yoga props. So if you want, you can also use a chair for this pose, because in the beginning, it might be too intense. You can even put one hand down like this. You can play with support. Feet together. We're going to enter the pose this time. Instead of just taking the hands here and out, we're going to cross them. Let's do it once. Cross your arms, raise them up, and let them land at your shoulders. Cross the other way. Raise them up. Let them land at your shoulders. What does that do? That helps lengthen and widen the chest. Now we're going to do it with the jump. If your knees are okay with jumping, if not, just step and jump. So you're activating the whole story. Waking up the light. Turn your left foot to the right. Turn your right leg to the right. See that your right heel bisects your left arch. Bend to a good deep, deep bend with the knee over the heel. Back leg straight. Then extend over long without losing that bend. Bring the right hand to the floor to a chair and raise the left hand up. First time we're just going to do the arm to the ceiling. Now that right buttocks, suck it in and press your inner right knee back into your arm. I'll show this in a minute, but press the right buttocks in, press the left knee back, stretch your arms and up. Okay. Second side, then I'll give a few more instructions. Turn your left leg to the right leg to the left, your left leg to the left. Left heel bisects the right arch, arms out to the sides. Extend into the back leg. In other words, make sure the back leg is staying nice and long, dynamically lengthening. Bend your left leg until the knee comes over the heel. If you need to go wider, go wider. Extend over. Bring the left fingertips behind the left ankle. Bring the right arm up. Breathe. Now press that left buttocks in to the body to open the inner left thigh. And now inhale up. Turn your feet, jump or step your feet to mountain. Take a minute to rest. Chanukah. The word Chanukah means they rested on the 25th. The 25th, we said in the beginning of the class, is the concept of consciousness or light. So close your eyes and take a little Hanukkah moment. Feel whatever is awakening through this practice. And now open your eyes and watch. So I'm going to show it from the side because here's a little technique that can help increase awareness of the positioning, that correct alignment of the buttocks, which is what we're looking for, even distribution. So when we go like this and we bend, that buttocks has to come in. So I'm saying from here to here, whoop, this way, arrow this way. Watch, I'm going like this. I bring my hand down behind my foot. Now, if you can see, my arm and my leg are touching. And that helps me because what I can do is I can push my outer knee into my arm. In other words, I'm taking my inner knee to my outer knee, inner knee to my outer knee, and outer arm to inner arm. So here, I'm creating a big compactness that helps align. So as this inner knee goes to the outer knee, my buttock sucks in and my inner leg opens. Let's try that connection. If you're using a chair, let's see how this works with a chair before I say something about it. Okay, yeah, if you're using a chair, look, you can stand right in front of the chair. We did this a few weeks ago, and use the chair to make sure that your inner knee is going to your outer knee and your buttocks is not sticking back. Your buttocks is sucking in. So there's a line. The outer thigh is parallel. It's a straight line. It's not diagonal. Okay, feet together. Come to mountain pose. Recenter. Hands down to the sides of the trunk. It's always good to come back to mountain to read. Let's actually take our thumbs and extend up for a moment. Because we're going to go very asymmetrical. We want to come out of symmetry. Feel the lengthening of both sides of the trunk. Arms out to the sides. And now we'll do the crossing of the arms and to jump into the pose like this. Jump or step. Turn your left foot to the right. Right leg to the right. Right heel bisects the left arch. Bend deeply down into that leg. Extend. Don't lose the deep bend. Bring the hand down and have the hand close to the foot so the knee and the arm are touching. And then press them into each other and suck that right buttocks forward. And then turn the upper arm and extend it over the ear as you keep sucking the right buttocks in, pressing the right knee back, and lengthening both sides of your torso. And inhale up. Okay, take a pause. Second side, turn your right foot 20 degrees to the left. Left leg 90 degrees to the left. This is a more challenging pose, so you can be patient with yourself. You can take one stage of the pose and not do the whole pose. If it's too much, you can practice the legs. But if you're ready, you go down deep. Go down deep, knee over the heel, buttocks sucked in, extend. Bring the left fingertips down, right arm up. Take that inner left knee to the arm and the arm resists. And from that resistance of knee against arm, suck the back buttocks, the left buttocks into the inner thigh and extend the arm over the ear. And now can you stretch both sides of your trunk and look under your armpit and breathe. Inhale up, turn your feet, jump or step your feet to mountain. Take a minute to receive. Okay, take a chair or a wall. You can actually put your hands against a wall. We're going to come to a little bit of balancing this out by doing a half forward bend. Walk your feet as wide apart as your yoga mat with your heels and your baby toes touching. We're going to extend our arms forward over a support, half forward bend. Over a support. So your feet are parallel. Your baby toe and your outer heel are in line with your yoga mat. And you stretch your spine. If you don't have a chair, maybe you have a wall you can put your hands on. Put your hands on the wall. I want to go halfway, or forward bends aren't good for you. Walk your hands up the wall. If somebody has that problem, you'll tell me maybe after and we can think about options. So lift your kneecaps. Roll your right thighs to face each other. Press your front thighs into the back thighs. And breathe. Lift your face. And come back up out of the pose. And roll the shoulders back. Okay, so we've done warrior 1 and side angle stretch. I want to go to warrior. I actually want to go to warrior 3. I'm going to go to warrior 3 using the chair. What is warrior 3? Warrior 3, we take our hands like we just did, but we bring our feet together. Watch for a minute. This is a assisted warrior 3. You do need something to put your hands on. Look what I'm going to do. Everything is very symmetrical here. And then looking forward with my face, I lift right now my left leg up and stretch it back. So I'm just standing on my right leg and everything else is parallel to the floor. Okay, so I'm going to come talk you through that. So come to standing with your feet together. This is a more advanced pose, but we'll give a taste of it. And we're doing an assisted. So your feet are together. Your hands are forward. Stretch your arms forward to stretch the front of your chest forward. Yeah. Then keeping your pelvis parallel to the floor. In other words, you're not going to lift your hip up. You're just going to lift your leg up. Lift up your left leg. Yes, try to lift it as high as parallel to the floor. Not so high, Margaret, parallel to the floor. There you go. Now press your heel away from you. Heel away from you. Notice where the front of the upper thigh is. Turn the thigh downward. Turn that left buttock. Yes, Panina, I've got a great view of you. Turn it down. Beautiful, Marcy. Now stretch away 2 directions. If it's too much, just do a half forward bend for now. Now bring the leg down. Great. Okay. Come back up to standing for a minute. Stretch your arms to the ceiling. Stretch your arms to the ceiling. Interlace your thumbs. Interlace thumb on thumb. Stretch up. This is what we're doing in the pose, except we're in a bit of a different angle. We want everything to be long like that.
And now extend your arms towards your support, your wall or your chair or your bench. Stretch it forward. Make sure you're really extending, not just kind of touching the chair, but lengthening. And then lift up your right leg. And notice that your right hip wants to lift up to the ceiling. Turn that right hip down, but lift that inner right leg up. The inner right leg. And then press the heel far back as you stretch your chest far forward. This teaches us to be strong in our consciousness of our bodies. And come out, bring your feet together, come to standing, raise your arms up, switch the cross of the thumbs, and lengthen. As you lengthen up, take the top of the buttocks down. Buttocks down, arms up. Od pamachad, one more time, warrior three. Take your extension to your half forward bend. Half forward bend, stretch forward. If you can bring your feet together, it's a good way to start. Bring your legs together so you're more in the center. And then lift up the left leg. Stand on the right leg. Warrior, mountain pose with the right leg. Less high, Margaret. Less high with the upper leg. Less high. Lower the upper leg, Margaret. Yeah. Now, bring your hips. Yeah, okay. No, a little higher, Margaret. Sorry, a little higher. Margaret, yeah, there you go. Stretch your legs away from each other. Tarimia to regular. Make it a little higher with the back leg if you can. Yofi, Barbara. Beautiful. Yofi. So lift your face. Cheryl, lifting the face is great. If you lift the face, you can really go 2 directions. Spreading the light into the world and come back out. Second side. Bring your feet together, stretch your arms up. Just make sure we're not straining the back. Stretch your arms up. Tarimu et yadayim, switch the cross of the thumbs. And last side, warrior three, take your arms forward, stretch the left leg up, right leg straight. Don't lift the right hip, just lift the right front of the thigh. There you go. Inner right thigh lifts up. Outer right thigh goes down. The buttocks is flat. It's you can put a cup of coffee on the buttocks. Stretch the leg back. Stretch the spine forward. Look forward for a moment. Yofi, Carol, look forward. Heel back and come up out of the pose. All right. Nice. Let's come out of these standing poses with a wide angle forward bend. Starting with the chair, take your legs or a bench or something, or if you're flexible, you don't need it. But let's all start with the chair for a moment with your feet wide apart, and you're going to go like this. Stretching forward onto the chair so my forehead can rest on the chair. So from the side, it looks like this. My legs are as wide as they've been today. They go wider than the other standing poses, and I stretch and rest on the back of the chair. If it's too much for you to go all the way down to the seat of the chair, you can take your legs wide and take a higher stance with your arms, but your legs should be 4.5 or a little wider. Feet parallel. Extend your arms. Yofi. Make sure your feet are parallel. Don't fall to your inner feet. Lift your inner ankles up. Lift your inner legs up. And then rest your head if you can. This first one we're doing restorative. And then if you're restorative, you can work harder with your legs. Work more with the legs. Okay, those of you who have the flexibility, take your hands to the floor. Those of you who need the chair, use the chair. If you can, put your hands between your legs, palms down, hands between the legs, palms down, and head to the floor. Feet, hands, achora, ben haraglaim, yadayim ben haraglaim, hands right between the feet. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, let me show the pose for a second. More with the legs, Carol, if you can. Front thighs lifting. Yofi, Margaret, take the inner thighs to the outer thighs. Inner thighs to the outer thighs so the inner knees don't collapse in toward each other. If the head touches the ground, that's a nice feeling. And come up out of the pose. All right, let me just show for a minute what I meant by the hands. For those of you who are having the flexibility to come to the floor. So here's what we can do with our hands. We can use the chair. We can take the fingertips down. Then we can take the palms down. Then we walk the hands between the feet like this. Bend the elbows, have them parallel, and have the head to the floor. Okay, but we're not going to do it again right now. I want to invite you to come to sitting with a blanket between your knees. Sit on your heels. And again, I think we did this last week. Some of you, there may be stories with your knees. It may be challenging to do this. If it's too much for you to sit on your knees yet, I'm going to ask you to sit on a few blankets or sit up on a chair. But for those of us, this is what the pose is going to look like. We're going to take a folded blanket, place it under the knees, and sit down on our heels like this. Okay, I'd like to fold the blanket a little neater. I was just trying to show quickly. Some of you have problems with this. You're welcome afterwards to ask me, and we can think of some alternatives, and sitting in a chair is an alternative as well. But it's nice to sit on the feet like this with the feet together as much as possible. Reach under the buttocks, move the flesh away. Like we always do in sitting poses, the buttocks goes diagonally out and back on both sides. Then you reach forward and you shift the skin of the kneecap from the bottom of the knee to the top of the knee. It's like you're releasing it so it's not pulling. Backs of the hands on the thighs, spine lifting. Backs of the hands on the thighs, one more time. 1 second, let me just show you like this. Why do I do like this? Because that helps roll the elbows back, roll the shoulders back. And allow the weight of the buttocks to settle onto the heels so that the spine can lift up to the ceiling. This is a good pose, by the way, for digestion. If it's too intense on your knees, can you sit with a few pillows under your buttocks? If it's too intense on your feet, that's a different question. I'll have to show some alternatives.
How are we doing that? I don't understand this one with
Oh.
my leg. I can't figure out what to do with my legs and the blanket.
Okay, so the basic pose, thank you, Gila, for asking. The basic pose is, look, the basic pose, we put our feet together, we put our knees together, and we're basically sitting on our heels. But that's pretty intense on the knees. So to make it a little less intense on the knees, I'm taking watch what I'm doing. I'm putting my head down so that I can take my hands and take a blanket and scoot it on top of my shin bone and under my, like between my knees. So I'm sitting down with the blanket between my lower leg and my upper leg. And that gives a little more space to the knees, but that may not be enough. Sometimes people sit up on a big blanket here so that you're not pressuring your knees. So if you have knee problems, you
Yeah,
might.
I do. I have a knee replacement, so I
Right.
have a problem with that.
So Gila, can I ask you, I'd like to work with you more privately on this one then. I'd rather have you sit up in a chair and you'll do the upper parts. Can you take 2 chairs?
Yeah, I can sit on the chair.
Sit in a chair and have another chair in front of you. I can help you with an alternative, but it will take a little time. So we can maybe take some time to do that after, but sitting on a chair, because we're going to be stretching our arms up, doing a few twists that you can do all of it just with a little bit less pressure on the knees. Okay, so I'm glad you checked out because that's important for me to know. That's one of the things about Zoom. We don't know, I don't know everything that's going on with everybody and their histories of their body. That's important. Take your arms forward, interlace your fingers all the way to the ends of the fingers. Turn your palms completely. And don't take your back forward. Have your back vertical over the hips. Yes. And then up, up. Up with the back, down with the buttocks. Up with the waist. Lift the sides of the trunk. Take the arms to the sides of the ears if you can. And squeeze them together. And then with this nice length, with the buttocks staying down, turn your whole torso from left to right. Come back to center. Readjust the lengthening of both arms, both sides of the trunk. Turn your entire right side of your trunk from right to left. Don't just turn the head. And come back to center. Buttocks down. Arms up one more time. Yes, squeeze them together. Now don't lose whatever you're creating in this new day of the back. and lower your arms. And take the backs of the arms to the thighs, roll the shoulders back, pause. Second side, interlace your fingers the other way. Turn the palms, stretch the arms, drop the buttocks, lift the spine. Drop the top buttocks to the heels. See how much you can just settle down onto those heels. And then with the long waist, turn from left to right. Everything turns, the waist, the rib cage, the chest. Chazara, go back to the center, lift to get more space for turning. And turn from right to left. Come back to center, lift, take the arms out. And now, if you're on the chair, go to your second chair. If you're on the floor, stretch forward over those thighs. If you're on the chairs, yes, exactly. Stretch to a table, stretch to a chair. And lengthen, and lengthen. So Carol, I would love to see your hands up on a table for that one, instead of down like that. A little more height. Yep, yep. I'd rather have the length than the rounding. Yeah, yep, yep. It's not about getting there. It's just about lengthening the spine over the belly. Nice, Gila. Beautiful, beautiful use of the chair. Yes. And now, exhale, relax your forehead. Slowly roll up to sitting, roll to your backs, take your blanket, bend your knees as you lie down. You're going to have a blanket under your head, and we're going to do Chanukah. We're going to rest now in whatever light we were able to awaken during this practice. So you bend your legs, you roll yourself onto your back. You have a blanket nearby. Lift up the buttocks always when we're setting up for Shavasana, relaxation pose, and you move that buttocks to make that space. Stretch your legs one at a time away from you. Really stretch them. We want to start the pose with long, long back of the legs. So like making a very neat bed on the back, like the sheet. You don't want any wrinkles in the back of the leg. And then once the back of the leg is well extended, you let the front of the leg fall onto the back of the leg and roll outward. Place the blanket under your neck, not under your shoulders, under your head and neck. Little bit of a blanket. Arms 30 degrees from your sides, roll your arms. Inner arms facing the ceiling. Set up around the line of your spine symmetrically. Head resting on the blanket, and then exhale and relax. Take your glasses off. Swallow and relax your throat. And allow yourself to let go of the efforts of increasing awareness and just receive the benefits. If it's not comfortable in your back, you can roll a blanket and place it under your knees. It should be comfortable. If it's not, make any minor adjustments. And then feel where your body's making contact. Exhale and relax to the floor. Once the back of the body starts to agree to rest, allow the front of the body to relax to the back of the body. Front of the body sinking to the back of the body. Release the front of the body and the back of the body to the floor. Relax your mouth, relax your tongue. And then slowly bend your knees. Place your feet on the floor. Roll to one side. And come up to sitting. Come up to sitting, sit cross-legged, or sit up on a chair. We'll finish up with the sound of shalom, creating wholeness of our study and our body, our minds. So sitting with a long spine, legs relaxed, chest open. Shalom. 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 When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Boker Or, a morning of light. In Israel, in Israel in Hebrew, but in Israel culturally, we say Boker Tov, right? Which means a good morning. It says the light of the first of creation was good. And we also say, then we respond, Boker Or, maybe a morning of light. So hidden in that little daily phrase is really this whole teaching that every day is a potential for some light. So I really want to open it up. If anyone has a question, I think Gila, maybe we might have to set up a little extra time to look at some of the knee stories so we can talk about that. But if anyone has a question or a thought, a blessing or an insight, we'd love to be able to take a moment to continue in this way. So let's hear if anyone has something to share this morning. Just find my glasses. That's the trick of teaching on Zoom. I'm always like putting my glasses in different places and who knows where. Here they are. Okay. It's easier for me to see with these. All right. Anyone have something they want to let us know? Yeah, Gila, please. Oh, except you're muted, Gila. You're muted. You have to unmute.
The two words that I know in Hebrew, but I never knew the other meaning. The olam from ne'alam, that it's hidden, and also chanukah, that really two words, chanu, that they, what you said, that it's time to rest.
Yes, beautiful, Gila. Yes,
those were both new to me.
Baruch Hashem. Thank God. Thank God. Yeah, it's so deep. There's no end to the Hebrew and what the secrets that are in them, in the Hebrew. And that's really my passion. My passion has always been how to reveal really deeper things through the Hebrew. All right. Anyone else want to share something they learned today, something new in their body and their mind and their connection between the two? Carol.
I really liked your presentation, the light of the first day of creation. I thought that was really, really interesting. And I always like to light a candle when I'm doing Torah yoga with you. Wow. And when I'm yoga in general, I like the light. And so I wanted to share that. And
thank you, Carol.
Day. So now I have a greater appreciation for doing it. So
I'm so glad, Carol. That's wonderful. Yeah. That's a lovely practice. Thanks for sharing. I'm so glad you told us. Beautiful. Thank you. Great. Yes, Madeline.
The 25th word,
Yes.
this word meaning light.
Yes.
That Hanukkah is the light.
Yes.
25.
Yes.
Very nice. The gematria. That was very nice.
I'm so pleased. Yes. These secrets. Also the word ko, right? Kaf he is a word used for prophecy. All the prophets, it says ko amar Hashem. Ko amar Hashem. So every time we have ko in the Torah, it's 25, it hints to the light, and it's also a word for prophecy. What is prophecy? It's like when a higher world is coming into the lower world. So it shows up in other ways as well. So that's the direction it heads. Yeah. Anyone else have another idea or thought, question about the yoga or the connection? Let's see. Is that Sherry wanting to speak or just reaching to? No. Okay. All right. Yes, Madeline, did you have something else, please?
Not about the Torah so much as when with Warrior 3, I had a hard time holding my balance.
Oh, yes, Madeline. Yes. Yes. That is definitely a balance pose.
Balance.
Yes, that is a classic balance pose. Yep. And I think we can give a little Torah teaching, how do we keep our balance? How do we find the light when it's not always so easy? Yeah, it's a total balance pose. It's actually a very advanced pose. So I'm just kind of throwing us into some of these poses since we have these classes to kind of taste some things. All right, so we do have one more class next week. Maybe we'll be able to continue. We'll have to speak with the powers that be and see what they're thinking. But Cheryl, I don't know if you have anything you want to say right now about it. It's
yes, one more class. And if people are interested, we have the opportunity to do more classes in 2021. So you will hear more about that.
okay, great.
Oh,
I'm seeing some nodding heads and hand thumbs up. So I'm certainly very excited to continue. I really enjoy. It's funny, even in this forum, I feel like we get to know each other a little bit, and it's so nice to get to share this deep stuff at this time. I think it's really, really important. So I'm really grateful for this. I'm glad everyone feels better. I'm getting some nice messages. So lots of love and Chanukah Sameach in just a couple days.
yes.
That's right. Same to everybody.
Yeah, lots of love.
Happy
Thanks so
Hanukkah.